The wearable and e-bike hardware markets are peaking. Production efficiency has reached its physical limits. Across the industry, margin compression is accelerating. The cost to manufacture and distribute physical units remains stubbornly high, while retail pricing power erodes. Competing on technical specifications alone is structurally insufficient to maintain profitability. Upgrading battery density or sensor accuracy no longer commands the premium it did 5 years ago. This line graph shows the standard hardware revenue lifecycle. It illustrates a single high-margin spike at the point of sale, followed by a long tail where incremental revenue effectively drops to zero. Software as a service, or SaaS, operates differently. SaaS is a delivery model where software is licensed on a subscription basis, generating continuous, compounding revenue with near zero marginal cost for each additional user. The challenge for a hardware manufacturer is capturing that recurring revenue without actually building, marketing, or supporting an enterprise software platform. To survive this margin compression, original equipment manufacturers must convert their depreciating installed base into a perpetual revenue stream. Conventional software licensing requires manufacturers to absorb upfront integration costs and pay ongoing fees. It creates sunk cost hesitation and extends procurement cycles. The Dandy Horse engineered a structural inversion of this model, known as the reverse royalty. Instead of the manufacturer paying for the software, the platform pays the manufacturer. This diagram details the economic exchange. Manufacturers provide raw, passively generated sensor data from their devices. In exchange, they receive an 8 to 12% perpetual cut of the enterprise software revenue. That equates to between $1.36 and $2.04 per active device, paid every single month. At minimum scale, a Tier 1 partner with 50,000 active certified devices earns $1,224,000 per year in recurring income. This return requires zero incremental manufacturing, marketing, or operational expenditure from the hardware partner. The obvious question is who is funding this multi-million-dollar royalty pool, and why are they paying for this specific data? The hardware already in the market is an untapped financial asset, but unlocking institutional capital requires data that is completely bulletproof. Self-insured employers and carbon registries do not buy standard fitness logs from platforms like Apple Health or Strava. Adding more biometric sensors to a device does not increase its institutional value. Consumer wellness data currently lacks strict counter-fraud architecture. Because of this, the data is highly susceptible to location spoofing and automated replay attacks. Knowing that an account logged a ride is mathematically worthless to an actuary. The standard requires proving that a specific person, on specific equipment, completed a sanctioned commute. The structural solution to this evidentiary gap is U.S. Patent Number 11998-801B2. This patent protects a VIDAT protocol. VIDAT is an acronym for Verification, Inspection, Demonstration, Analysis, and Testing. It is a multi-layer evidentiary framework that converts physical activity into audit-grade data. Strict verifiability and anti-fraud architecture are the absolute prerequisites for tapping into financial markets. The VIDAT protocol requires absolutely no new sensors or post-integration firmware modifications to existing hardware. The system strictly utilizes the raw, unprocessed telemetry already passively generated by the device to form a multi-factor verification mesh. The first layer requires 1 Hz raw NMEA or GPX output. GPX and NMEA are standard geographic data formats that provide time-anchored trajectory and distance verification. The second layer uses raw 3-axis accelerometer data without consumer-side smoothing. This identifies a specific human cadence, definitively defeating passive transit spoofing like riding in a car with a GPS tracker. The third layer utilizes close-range NFC or QR checkpoints on the bicycle frame and helmet. NFC stands for Near-Field Communication, a short-range wireless technology that confirms physical equipment integrity and safety compliance. The final layer relies on an NFC tap at a verified destination node and a tether to a participating credit union, confirming the user's financial identity and location. These stacked validation layers act as sequential control gates. Failing any single layer instantly invalidates the dataset. This transforms ambiguous behavioral data into a cryptographically secure, tamper-resistant evidence packet that actuaries and regulators can implicitly trust. This diagram illustrates what happens when a commute achieves audit-grade status through the verification mesh. It triggers a multiplicative revenue architecture, where one data event feeds 3 parallel active revenue streams. The first silo is Healthcare Reserve Release as a Service, or HRRaaS. Verified data allows self-insured employers to actuarially reclassify health reserves into working capital. This is projected to release approximately $1,700 per active rider annually. The second silo is Bicycle Commuter Carbon Avoidance Credits. Where approved methodologies apply, verified miles generate monetizable instruments in strict regulatory carbon markets. The third silo is SlingShot. This program allows credit unions to use verified behavioral data as an alternative proxy for consumer creditworthiness, opening access to zero-interest loan programs. These revenue streams operate in parallel. A single physical commute simultaneously unlocks value across all 3 silos. Solving the fraud problem unlocks dormant capital in the healthcare, climate, and credit sectors. That institutional demand is what funds your perpetual OEM royalty. The timeline from the initial technical handshake to the first reverse royalty payment is built to be fast and frictionless. This visual outlines a 60 to 90-day path to achieve a pilot deployment across 3 operational gates. The immediate focus is Gate 1, technical integration. Gate 1 requires only a simple API validation and a sensor stress test using a closed 50-session data sandbox to ensure raw outputs meet the specifications. This initial step requires zero commercial commitment and operates with minimal disruption to existing engineering workflows. By completing a simple sandbox integration, an equipment manufacturer effectively allows its existing sales force to inherit a fully funded software monetization engine. Product architects, partnership directors, and executives across the wearable and cycling industries need to evaluate this architecture. Your devices are already generating this data. You are simply leaving the resulting royalty uncollected. Contact Mark Kabash and the Dandy Horse to initiate a Gate 1 technical briefing. Visit thedandyhorse.com and subscribe to the official YouTube channel for full deployment specifications. Stop allowing your hardware to be a depreciating asset. Activate your reverse royalty stream today.